All right, folks, this one's going to be probably quick, but also a little weird. So, Diana, a little while back, found this. I guess the best way to describe it is a claw machine cafe in Manhattan that seems really fun. And she found that she was there a few days ago as of this recording. It's probably going to be a while ago as of when this gets published, but she was there again looking around, and she saw these little capsule machines where you just put in money and get a random toy, and they were all just kind of themed. So there was like a Hello Kitty one, probably an Animal Crossing one. I'd be shocked if there wasn't, and obviously a Transformers one, among others. And so it was basically just put some tokens in and get a random Transformery themed toy. This is clearly a knockoff, very clearly a knockoff. But as weird and silly as this thing is, I actually adore it. Not just because of its crapness, but because it's actually kind of awesome in its own way. So this, as you can see, is some kind of ripoff of Optimus Prime. More than likely intended to evoke the Age of Extinction design, where I guess The Last Knight or Age of Extinction, either one, the Knight Prime, because he's got a lot of Knight Prime aesthetics along with the flames, though the coloring is definitely a little weird. But it's still kind of cool for what it is. The detailing, as strange as it is actually kind of nicely done. Like, there's some nice molding in here that evokes both the look of the character in the movie and also just kind of looks nice. The paint is a little sloppy in places, like along the tops of the knees here, but it works. And also on the crotch there, that is some sloppy paint too. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's neat. The detailing is nice. The silver and gold on the red, like the gold doesn't stand out super well on the red, but the silver really does. And I like the kind of metallic blue accents that they added along with the silver. That looks really nice. It's just kind of a silly little Optimus Prime man, with even like the little plates and stuff to evoke the shoulder armor and other armor for the movie. The chest is definitely a little different. He doesn't have like the obvious pec plates like he did in the movie, but it's okay. And then you also get the head, which is, well, zoom in rather than bring him closer. The head is it is very obviously supposed to be the face-plated Knight Optimus Prime, but oh boy. The molding is a little bit off, the head is a little bit too wide, and the gold eyes are not painted well. They're kind of close together and small. But I love this thing for what it is, like I said, and the metallic blue does look nice. He's just very strange, but I kind of love him for it. There is also a little bit of articulation on this guy. The head, as you saw, can turn a bit and look up and down a bit, which is, we'll see it during the transformation, but there's like a nub back in this, it's like a deep-seated ball joint in the torso, and there's this nub on the ball joint that kind of locks things in place to a degree, which I feel like it would have been, I might go in and take that nub off, I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but he would be able to look a lot more around without it. There are ball-jointed arms that actually stick inside the torso, so you can just about go all the way around, but because of the angles involved, not really. It kind of, oh, okay, I guess you can go all the way around, but yeah, it's awkward because you could see there's like this stalk that goes into the body, and the stalk is at an angle, which is mainly so that you can bring the arms down like this, but they can go out, they can go up and down a bit. And I just dropped a thing. Where'd you go? Why? Why does this have to happen now? I'm recording. Come here. There we go. I got the thing. Okay. We need that thing for later. Anyway, no waist articulation, no other arm articulation, no elbows or anything, so you can see from the back he's hollow, but it's also a cheap knockoff. The legs actually have a tiny bit of articulation, technically. because the hips can actually go back a bit. Like that's pretty much all you get, but you can maybe do like the heroic pelvis thrusting, maybe not to that extent. Yeah, no, you're not really going to articulate much. No knees, no thigh swivels. The toes can bend, but they kind of lock in place. So they're just loose if you unclip them. And yeah, he's a very simple little figure. But I can't help but be kind of charmed by him, because he is so weird and obviously bad, but in like a fun way. Anyway, size-wise, here he is with the standard crew. And bring in Burnout, move him up a bit so you can see he's taller, definitely taller than Burnout, but a little bit shorter than Rotorstorm. So I guess I would put him in like the tall-ish deluxe height, but not as tall as the tallest of deluxes, if that makes any sense. And yeah, he's a strange thing. I mean, I guess technically his height is also variable because the legs are telescoping for transformation, but when they're extended all the way, like they probably should be, he is a little bit on the tall side for a deluxe. And lastly, here he is with the duck tank. Now comes the fun part. So, as I said, this guy is kind of silly, kind of ridiculous, and not good per se, but he's kind of interesting in what else he knocks off. So in order to transform him, well, let's start with the legs. So we're going to push the legs in, and they do kind of click both in this position and in this position. You can see there's a slider here with a couple of pegs sticking through. So click those in, unclick the toes, and rotate them back. The toes don't really peg in anywhere back here, but they do kind of rest to the point where you don't have to worry about them flopping out, so there is that. Then you want to disconnect the legs going backwards, and these little tabs on the backs of the ankles will actually peg into the back here. Peg that in, and peg that in. And keep the push the arms down like that, and then want to pop open the chest like so. And it only really pops open that much, and then take the head, and there you can see the gigantic ball joint, and fold it down, and there's that nub I was talking about that kind of hard to see, but there's little slots back there. It sits in there, and that's what keeps it from turning too much. So I feel like if I could shave that down, it'd be better. But anyway, bring that down so that the head is all the way in there. Close it up. And here is this knockoff Optimus Prime weirdo in his alternate mode. And what is his alternate mode? Well, to better convey that, we're going to have to take a look at the little accessory thing that I dropped off camera before. Because remember I said this came from a capsule machine. And this, and I just knocked over Artfire, is what he came packaged in. Oh geez, there goes Rotorstorm. This is a mess. You guys. Okay. And this is a little plastic capsule egg thing. You just put Prime in there, close this back up, and there he goes. It's all packaged up. Now, I don't know what this thing is called. It didn't say anything on the packaging other than some like off-brand, knockoff-y, transformery term. I'm now... the name I've come up with for him is Ova Prime. So this is Ova Prime, and did I call him... did I make this video specifically just so I could be like, hey, appreciate my silly joke? Yes. Yes, I did. But at the same time, I actually really like this stupid thing, and it's going to be in size comparisons going forward, so get used to Ova Prime, because Ova Prime is not going anywhere. Until he breaks, probably. But yeah, this guy is ridiculous. He just turns into a ball, just balls up and goes inside an egg. You don't even have to put him inside the egg, but that is what I have to keep him in, to remind me that he is actually Eggy Prime. And this thing is so ridiculous, but I love it so much. And it's also interesting because this is absolutely, like, it's not just ripping off Optimus Prime from The Last Knight or Age of Extinction. It is also ripping off Ultraman egg toys. I don't know for sure that the Ultraman toys are the only ones that do this kind of transformation, but I've seen videos on these Ultraman toys where they basically have this exact same transformation, and they turn into approximations of Ultraman or Ultramen throughout the years of the show, of the various series. And this is like the same basic transformation, just it turns into a really garish ripoff of Optimus Prime. It's a weird thing that's ripping off a lot of other things, but I can't help but love it, despite its extreme weirdness and very obvious copyright infringements, let's say. Anyway, that's pretty much all I can say about the alternate modes, so moving on to size comparisons, like, he just balls up, so he doesn't really get any fancier with his mass distribution, but there is Ova Prime, both him and his egg. I have them both side by side because he just fits in the egg, so like the size wouldn't really change with him in here. But you can see he balls up really well, and this is this is much denser and much heavier than this. Though I will say, Ova Prime's plastic, it is 100%, a little bit out of sorts here because of the spill, he is 100% a knockoff. Like, there's no mistaking the fact that he's using knockoff plastic. But despite that, it's actually not terrible. Like, the plastic, it feels, for a knockoff, actually feels pretty decent. I don't feel like I'm going to snap the thing apart by just messing around with it. It's definitely, you know, not up to par with like mainline Transformers stuff, let alone Masterpiece or nice, solid third-party stuff like what Mastermind Creations does. But for a knockoff, plastic's pretty decent. Anyway, here he is with the duck tank. And that is it for what I have dubbed Ova Prime. This thing is completely ridiculous and just silly, and I absolutely love it. I'm so happy that Diana found this and won it for me, because it's a simple transformation, and it's, I don't know, it's like, who's it hurting, really? It's just funny and cute and kind of sad, but in an endearing way. And I can pose him and do pose him on the shelf with his little egg, and it's just so ridiculous, and I love it. But that is going to do it for Ova Prime. What do you all think of this thing? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And I forgot to do the thing again. Why am I so bad at this? So yeah, Patreon, if you like this video, can't imagine why, or any of the other videos I've done, also can't imagine why, and want to support me or the channel, I have a Patreon, which has, there's a link in the description. That gets you, it's a $1 tier. It's all I've got. That $1 a month gets you early access to new videos and, of course, supports the channel. If you'd rather support the channel in a way that doesn't involve money, you could always like, comment, subscribe, all that usual YouTube shill stuff. But I also have a different link in the description for a Discord server for ShowZ. ShowZ is a great overseas website that sells a lot of knockoff Masterpiece and third-party figures, as in knockoffs slash, like not, no, it does sell knockoff Masterpieces, but like official Masterpieces too, is what I'm trying to say. Basically, sells a lot of different stuff. Great customer service. Shipping can take a little while, but it is free coming from China, so that's, you know, it's pretty good. And I mean, you can also, if you want to do non-free shipping, you can do that too. And the non-free shipping is actually pretty reasonable. But yeah, great site, great customer service, highly recommended. Not sponsored, but if you use the link in the description to join the Discord server, I earn like roughly 50 cents worth of store credits. So that could build up to the point where I could actually use it to go towards other figure purchases in the future, and then I can make videos on those. But with all that out of the way, thank you, and hopefully I will remember to do that stuff when I'm supposed to be doing it in other videos going forward. Probably not. We shall see.